of the modern world. He was once quoted as saying, "The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane." Just wait till you hear this. When you talk about being born under a wandering star and all that, well, this guy was born under a blaze of glory during a fierce lightning storm at the stroke of midnight in 1856. It was like something out of a science fiction novel. The quintessential mad genius had arrived. He was the chosen one sent to the earth to present to humanity the next phase in the quantum imagination of our understanding of everything, something only a genius would dare to envision. At first, he was sent all over Europe to troubleshoot and improve Edison-designed dynamos and motors. This was frustrating for Tesla. Why? If he could make better improved versions of someone else's inventions, could he not have them built this way in the first place? At the age of 28, he immigrated to the United States after an extensive educational program during the Austrian Empire. Tesla was ready, empowered with the knowledge and the know-how to transform the world. But how would he go about this? Where would the funding come? His first instinct upon arriving in the US was to become a worker at Edison Machine Works. Tesla was a huge admirer of Thomas Edison, but he knew Edison's ideas were flawed. Nonetheless, Edison was not for changing his mind when Tesla tried to show his idol where he could make changes, and therefore, Nikola Tesla struck out on his own. Tesla began accumulating the information needed to patent his improved version of Edison's arc lightning system, something he tried to tell Thomas Edison how to correct. In March 1885, he met with patent attorney Lemuel Sorel, the same attorney used by Edison to obtain help with submitting the patents. Sorel introduced Tesla to two businessmen, Robert Lane and Benjamin Vail, who agreed to finance an arc lightning manufacturing and utility company in Tesla's name, the Tesla Electric Light and Manufacturing. Once Tesla had the company up and running, the two businessmen abandoned the great inventor, changed the company's name, and left the man with no money. This was only the first in a succession of betrayals, but by this time, Tesla had already came up with ideas for alternating current motors and wireless energy. Going forward, he was now more wary of the scavengers, but had little choice to look for some sort of funding to produce his magnificent ideas. During this period, Tesla was reduced to working various electrical repair jobs for $1 per day. He recalls in his notes, "My high education in various branches of science, mechanics, and literature seemed to me like a mockery during 1886. This was a trying time for a man who had the ideas in his head that could transform the world, yet he seemed to be going nowhere. No one was buying into his ideology." In late 1886, Tesla set up a meet with Alfred S. Brown, a Western Union superintendent, and New York attorney Charles F. Peck. The two men were experienced in setting up companies and promoting inventions and patents for financial gain, of course. Based on Tesla's new ideas for electrical equipment, including a thermomagnetic motor idea, they agreed to back the inventor financially and handle his patents. Together, they formed the Tesla Electric Company in 1887, with an agreement that profits from generated patents would go 1/3 to Tesla, 1/3 to Peck and Brown, and 1/3 to fund development. This was his big break, and this is where things started happening, and the name Tesla was soon well known in New York City. The money Tesla made from licensing his AC patents made him independently wealthy and gave him the time and funds to pursue his own interest. This is where it all began, and what ultimately caused such a stir at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. The vision of Edison and the vision of Tesla for how electricity would be produced and distributed can be summarized as one of cost and safety. The DC current that Edison, backed by General Electric, had been working on was costly over long distances and produced dangerous sparking from the required converter. Regardless, Edison and his backers utilized the general dangers of electric current to instill fear in Nikola Tesla's alternative alternating current, trying to ridicule Tesla in a world where Edison held a monopoly over the inventing and newspaper pull. This led to the accumulation of over a decade of shady business deals, stolen ideas, and patent suppression that Edison and his moneyed interests wielded over Tesla's inventions. Yet despite it all, it is Tesla's system that provides power generation and distribution in our modern era. Tesla may have had a brilliant mind, but he was not as good at reducing his ideas to practice. Tesla described to his funder and business partner, J.P. Morgan, a new means of instant communication that involved gathering stock quotes and telegram messages, funneling them to his laboratory where he would encode them and assign them each a new frequency. That frequency would be broadcast to a device that would fit in your hand. In other words, Tesla had envisioned the smartphone and wireless internet over 100 years before the ideas were fully put to practice. Does that not just blow your mind, or what? He also conceived of, but never developed, technology for radar, X-rays, a particle beam death ray, and radio astronomy. Tesla invented many wondrous things, including the laser, robotics, remote control, radio, and light. But his big idea for free wireless energy and a global communication network, the internet, was where he was halted in his tracks. This is inextricably linked, as they were the last straw for the power elite. What good is energy if it can't be metered and controlled? Free? Never. J.P. Morgan backed Nikola Tesla with $150,000 to build a tower that would use the natural frequencies of our universe to transmit data, including a wide range of information communicated through images, voice messages, and text. This represented the world's first wireless communications, but it also meant that aside from the cost of the tower itself, the universe was filled with free energy that could be utilized to form a worldwide web connecting all people in all places, as well as allow people to harness the free energy around them. Essentially, the zeros and ones of the universe are embedded in the fabric of existence for each of us to access as needed. Nikola Tesla was dedicated to empowering the individual to receive and transmit this data virtually free of charge. Nikola Tesla had perhaps thousands of other ideas and inventions that remain unreleased. A look at his hundreds of patents shows a glimpse of the scope he intended to offer. If you feel that the additional technical and scientific research of Nikola Tesla should be revealed for public scrutiny and discussion,